70 Fight News here with the brother Mike Sowell. Man, we finna talk about a little bit about basketball. Apparently, earlier this week, Kobe Bryant made a statement to the press saying that he feels that his Olympic team would defeat the 1992 Dream Team. Okay, and this has started a lot of controversy, so we're gonna let you know how we feel about it. Yeah, man. So, what you think about Kobe's comments?
I can understand, what I'm saying, like him trying to show support for his team. Even though I don't know exactly what was asked of him or whether he was, led into making that comparison. But, I can understand him supporting his team, but I just can't agree with that opinion at all. I can't see that this team matching up at all with the 1992 Dream Team.
Yeah, hey, what are some of the factors that lead you to believe that the 1992 team will beat these guys today?
Well, number one, I think that the 1992 Dream Team have two huge advantages going for them. Number one, I think they're too big down low. Like,
right.
I'm looking at the 2012 team. They only have one true center. That's Tyson Chandler. He's not exactly the large, most muscular center. That I think Tyson Chandler's like 7'1", 235.
Right.
Yeah, he's the only true center they have. Of course, the 92 Dream Team had both Patrick Ewing and Dave Robertson. Patrick Ewing, by that time, was about 7 feet and 250 pounds. Dave Robertson was 7'1", 250. And you know Diesel Dave Robertson was. And like these are the front court for the 2012 team. Kevin Love and Blake Griffin. And I believe Blake Griffin's not going to be playing. I think he had a knee surgery. But basically, they're going to have two big men, Tyson Chandler and Kevin Love. And Kevin Love doesn't even really. He's 6'10", 260, but he's not exactly a banger. As far as scoring. He's kind of more of a. He's kind of like a garbage type scorer.
Kevin Love is the 2012 Christian Laettner, man.
Exactly.
That's all he is.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I just see that, the size. And plus, another advantage that the 1992 Dream Team has is the perimeter players as far as shooting. Like, I'm looking at the lineup, the whole roster: Deron Williams, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Love, James, Iguodala, Harden, Griffin, who's not going to play apparently, Kevin Durant, Chandler, Kobe Bryant, Carmelo Anthony. None of these guys are consistent outside threats.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, Kobe.
They got Anthony Davis came in for him.
Okay. But Kobe Bryant is, he can get hot from the perimeter, but he's not a consistent three-point shooter. None of these guys are consistent three-point shooters. Kevin Love can knock him down, but he has to be he's kind of more of a set three-point shooter. 1992 Dream Team. Yeah, Chris Muller, one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Yeah.
Larry Bird, greatest shooter of his era. Maybe, perhaps the greatest three-point shooter of all time. That's debatable.
Yeah.
John Stockton, great outside shooter. Then you have some other guys. Jordan and Pippen were becoming, and Drexler Wall at that time of their career becoming more consistent outside threats. Just some other things. And Kobe Bryant also, made a mention of, he thought that the 1992 Dream Team was too old, and that's kind of ridiculous to me. Outside of, I believe, Larry Bird, John Stockton, I believe everybody was under the age of 30 on that team. And most of the guys were in their primes, and I also think that Michael Jordan would wreak havoc on the
Yeah, look at they. I don't see nobody over there holding. Really, I mean, talking about Michael Jordan at 29 in his prime. I don't know. And I think Scottie Pippen would D up LeBron James. I think Pippen would D the shit out of LeBron James.
Yeah, yeah, I do too. I do too, man. And I want to use a game, a particular game, as a reference for how dominant I think Michael Jordan would be against 2012 Dream Team. You remember it was a game when Kobe Bryant was playing against the Wizards. I think it was Jordan last year with the Wizards, and he scored 55 points. But see, the thing about that game is, all right, Kobe was 24 years old at the time, right? In the first half, he scored 42 points on 14 to 16 shooting. And he was primarily guarded by Tyronn Lue, who was a bench player. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Tyronn Lue was
a bum.
Barely a starter. He was an average. Yeah, well, yeah, like he's a bum.
He's a bum.
Tyronn Lue, Jerry Stackhouse, who never, I don't even know if Jerry Stackhouse can spell defense.
Yeah.
And an older Byron Russell. You know, he wasn't, you know, Byron Russell was a very good defender, but by that time he was, you know, a lot older than he was back in the 90s in his prime. And Tyronn Lue, and in the second half of the game, Jordan primarily guarded him, a 40-year-old Michael Jordan. And, you know, Kobe would have won a 13 shooting and 13 points in the second half. And most of them from the free throw line. We're talking about a 40-year-old Michael Jordan going against a 24-year-old Kobe Bryant. So, you know, in this hypothetical matchup, you're talking about a nearly 34-year-old Kobe going against a 29-year-old Jordan. I don't see it, man.
Yeah, I tend to agree, man. I think that I haven't seen that game you're talking about, though. I have to go back and refresh my memory on that game. But I do know that when you look at the 1992 Dream Team versus the guys they got today, you know, this is just, this is the Olympic team. I mean, they just stopped calling people Dream Team. It was only one Dream Team, that was 1992. You know, but I think that when you look at the guys who were assembled on that team, those guys were the best of the best.
I got the whole lot in front of me right now. The team had 11 Hall of Famers, man. Yeah, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, Chris Mullin, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Magic Johnson, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, and David Robinson. Plus, you know, even though Christian Laettner did not have a Hall of Fame career, you know, Christian Laettner still was a pretty good all-around NBA player. You know, he had a good career. At the time, he was the 1992 NCAA Player of the Year. You know, you know, he was the best player in college when he completed the 100 team. So that team was a dream team, man. That's why that you know that term was coined. But now you got all these other teams, man. You know, this is just an Olympic team, man, of professionals. This team is not. This team just doesn't compare, man. I got some numbers that I want to share with you, man. This team, the 2012 Olympic team, altogether, has 4 MVP award winners, and 3 of them by LeBron James, 1 of them by Kobe. The 92 Dream Team together had 15 MVP awards.
God damn.
Yeah. This team altogether had 7 NBA titles. 2012 team, 5 by Kobe. The 1992 team had 23 NBA championships total. This team right here, the 2012 team, altogether has 43 All-Star appearances. 1992 Dream Team had 105 All-Star appearances. So it's like the talent level altogether, man. It's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the names. I mean, it's big names in this this Olympic team, but for Kobe to say, you know, Kobe my boy, but for him to say that he think they would beat the Dream Team is kind of ridiculous, man. I don't think. I mean, I don't blame him for thinking that because you know Kobe think he the best, but I think that he overstepped his bounds a little bit, man. I don't see him being able to deal with a Michael Jordan in his prime. Jordan was, and Kobe at 34 years old. Kobe couldn't hold Jordan, man. Jordan would blow past Kobe, man. Kobe had hard enough time trying to guard
James Harden, you know.
James Harden.
I mean, they helped to make J.J. Pereira get that big contract. You know what I'm saying? The way he was looking in the playoffs last year against the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's just, another thing, like I think I alluded to a little earlier, man. It's just the earlier Dream Team, man. It's just overall, I was, looking at different numbers. Numbers don't tell the whole story, but over a period of time, numbers do reflect the pattern.
Yeah.
And it's just that each player, just overall on the Dream Team, took smarter shots and more accurate from the field. I just did like a brief comparison of different players. I took Carmelo Anthony and Scottie Pippen. Carmelo Anthony, for his career, shoots about 45%. At that time, Scottie Pippen was just under 50% for his career. Kobe Bryant right now for his career is 45%. At that time, at age 29, Michael Jordan was 52% on the field. Tyson Chandler is actually a little bit more accurate than David Robinson was at that time, 58% to 54%. But David Robinson took like 3 to 4 times as many shots. And when you do the career comparison, Chandler averages something like 8 points, 9 rebounds, a block. And David Robinson, for his career at that time, was averaging 24 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 2 steals. I mean, it's like, I could just go on and on. Barkley blows Kevin Love out of the water statistically. Dominance.
Yeah. Barkley would have punked Kevin Love.
Yeah, he would have. I mean, Kevin Love is a very good player, but I think he's a little bit overrated. A little bit, because some of his rebound totals are slightly inflated because the Minnesota Timberwolves, usually lead the league in possessions. They have a fast uptake, fast pace.
Right.
Style of play, so you have more possessions, you have more shot attempts, you're gonna have more rebound attempts. So his total a little bit inflated. I think if you played on a team like the Pistons, Kevin Love wouldn't be putting up quite the same numbers.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just my opinion, man. Some people might agree, but I just don't think it's a contest between these two teams.
No, I think it'd be an embarrassing defeat for the Olympic team today, man, versus them guys. And I think Kobe he still think that I heard Kobe said something that's like he was still in his prime or something like that. I seen that somewhere where Kobe said he was still in his prime. I'm like, man, listen, man, Kobe ain't been in his prime for about 4 years. You ask me.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kobe, in his prime, he had something, remember correctly, something like a 38-inch vertical. And I don't know, what his vertical is now exactly, but from looking at him, looking at play, like he's lost about at least 7 inches off his vertical.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like Kobe doesn't get quite the separation from his defender like he used to. Like you said, Kobe get a shot block a little bit more frequently. Can't go by his defenders the way he used to back in 2008, 7, 6. So that's why he has to sometimes take bad shots. He always had like an odd shot selection anyway, but he's starting to take really bad shots because he has to settle. And he can still score, but
right.
He's becoming more of a volume scorer than he ever was. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, man, he's just gonna have to realize he's not the player he once was. Have to adjust.
How do you think Steve Nash is gonna contribute to? How do you think he's gonna help the Lakers, if at all, this year?
Well, I think that Steve Nash, I have to see the whole roster, like exactly what the final team will be, but I would think that he would help to rein in Kobe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because Kobe's usage percentage, how long he has the ball, is ridiculous. Steve Nash will kind of help, fortunately, or hopefully, I should say, to even out the offense a little bit. get other players more involved, and not letting it be just the Kobe show, and you know what I'm saying, it kind of rein in Kobe's shot attempts.
Yeah.
Get the ball in certain spots where he would be more efficient. And on offense, I think that he helps the Lakers tremendously. It also depends on what the roster's going to be. Now, defensively, that's the problem.
Yeah, he's going to be a liability on defense.
Yeah, that's the problem they had with Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher, back in his prime was a pretty good defensive player. But, that's one of the reasons they got rid of him, because he was 37 years old and he was, him and Kobe were they couldn't contain that man anymore, and guys was just, perimeter players was just penetrating to the hole like crazy. And that's the problem that's going to continue. But Steve Nash is 37 as well. He never was a good defensive player in his prime. So that's one of the problems that's going to happen. And I look at it like a slight step ahead, but not a huge step ahead, because you're still dealing with some of the same problems you had before.
Yeah, they're still not going to be able to stop OKC. They're going to have to hope that they don't run into OKC into the Western Conference Finals, and hope somebody else knock them off before then. But I don't see. I mean, they're going to have to come up with. They're going to have to hope for OKC to have an injury to Westbrook or something. I mean, I'm not hoping for that. I'm just saying. But because they're not going to. I mean, they're going to be running a lot of zone to try to stop these guys, because man to man they don't match up well with the OKC. Too young, too fast. But while we doing this video, man, let's what do you think? Okay, we talked about this before, but let's break this down, man. The best NBA draft year ever, in your opinion?
It's funny, man, because I was just reading an article 2 weeks ago between what the best NBA draft was. I think it's a tie. It's hard for me to determine which one. Man, I guess I would have to say maybe the overall 1996 draft, but it's close between the 96 draft and the 84 draft. It's close.
Yeah.
But when you look at, like, I guess because in the 84 draft, you had Olajuwon, you had Jordan, you had Barkley, John Stockton, and you're talking about, like, the greatest ever at their positions. The 96 draft, he didn't have quite, you had some that reached up to that level, but the 96 draft also had a lot of overall, like, depth, like a lot of very solid, great, all-time great players in that draft, too.
Yeah.
Like, nobody saw Kobe Bryant. Anybody that sits there and said they thought Kobe Bryant would be a top 15 player all time in 96 is lying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I thought he was, you know what I'm saying? You got some people out, man, like, why do he was going to be no. Kobe Bryant, I thought he was going to be, like a Jerry Stackhouse type player, good scorer, kind of exciting, but I never thought he was going to come play. He did. Allen Iverson, I always thought that he was going to get injured, watching the way he played. I was surprised that he stayed as effective as long as he did. Ray Allen, I mean, I never would have thought that he would go down as the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Steve Nash was from that draft.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I didn't expect him to become the player that he did.
Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher.
Yeah.
He was from that draft.
My boy Sharif Abdul-Rahim was a beast for a couple of years. I don't know what his issue, but Sharif was a solid 2010 guy, man. And I don't know what happened. Because I stopped watching basketball for a couple of years.
I think he had some injury problems.
Yeah, I think it was. I think he had some injury problems, and it was somebody else. It was a lot of other people came out that year that was supposed to be good, but ended up being busts, like John Wallace and Marcus Camby was good,
Yeah.
But Yeah, for the most, and yeah, what you call came out that year too. Antoine Walker.
Was it 96 he came out?
Yeah, it was 96. Cause I used to, I collect them basketball cards. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 96.
Antoine Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, Antoine Walker, man, before he started, putting on a little weight and started wanting to become a point guard or whatever the fuck he wanted to be, man. I mean,
yeah.
I always like watching him, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you're younger, you don't really, I was a teenager then, you know what I'm saying? I always kind of like watching guys shoot three-pointers or whatnot, but he just, I don't know, man, his shot selection was sometimes ridiculous, but you know what I'm saying? When he was on, you know what I'm saying? He was on, but I don't know, man. I just don't think he had the right dedication. I don't know. Sometimes some players may just don't know what their minds are, but he had all-star potential. He was an all-star for a little bit, but.
What do you think? What do you think of the move by Ray Allen to join the Miami Heat rather than re-sign with the Celtics?
Well, when the Boston Celtics signed Jason Terry, you know what I'm saying? Because I had read that Miami Heat were interested in him, but they couldn't quite match the offer by the Boston Celtics, if I read correctly. But when they Boston Celtics signed Jason Terry, that pretty much kind of probably was a signal to Ray Allen that, if he was going to come back, he wasn't going to be getting any significant playing time. So, Ray Allen took to me, I think, a wise decision. You know what I'm saying? He didn't lose that much as far as money-wise, and why not sign with a team that just won a championship? Yeah,
I think it was a good move for Ray, man, because I'm a Ray Allen fan. I told people that's my favorite player in the NBA, Ray Allen. Then Kobe Bryant, but Ray Allen is my favorite player, and I think that it was a good move because for years of watching Ray on the Celtics, I feel like Ray Allen. See, I don't know all the numbers. You good at researching those statistics, so maybe you can find them for me. But I need to find out what Ray Allen's career field goal attempts are, because Ray Allen, I watched him with the Celtics, and for the most part of his career, I watched him with the Bucks when he was with the Bucks and with the Supersonics. Ray Allen, from my memory, not having the actual numbers, but only shot probably on average about 15 to 16 shots a game. And the man, Ray Allen, to me, if he was one of those guys who got to shoot the ball 25 times a fucking game like a lot of these dudes, he would win scoring titles and all that. He'd be a fucking superstar. But the thing is, I'm not mad at Ray Allen for making that move to the Miami Heat, because the Boston Celtics were not using him effectively. In my opinion, I think that you bench him. Before they even benched him, they tried to trade him. He'd been in trade talks for the last 2 years with the Celtics. So Danny Ainge wasn't really sold on Ray Allen. I don't know what it was, but he was always in trade talks. So then they actually traded Ray Allen to Memphis. And then Memphis reneged on the deal, from my understanding. And Ray Allen got a phone call from Doc Rivers saying, hey, you've been traded, blah, blah, blah. Then he got another phone call later saying, oh, the trade's off, we apologize, all that kind of shit. So I would be bitter too. I would be pissed off too. Then, on top of that, you get hurt, and then you lose your starting position to a young kid, okay, who can play defense, but that's it. Then, on top of that, they signed Jason Terry, okay? Now, Ray Allen was asking the Celtics for, I believe, a 3-year, $27 million deal, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess they felt like that was too much money. But the Knicks is about to pay Jeremy Lin more money than that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I mean, I'm not mad at Ray. I think he made a wise decision to join the Miami Heat, somewhere where he can at least play a role, because if he would have stayed with the Celtics, I believe that he wouldn't have got a lot of playing time. They would have just used him for when they were down. He would have came in crunch time to try to hit a couple threes and win the game and shit. So, I seen some blogs where Celtic fans were trying to shit on Ray Allen, and Ray, he sold out. Why is it in basketball that when a free agent decides to take his talents elsewhere, when a free agent decides to take his talents to South Beach, you know what I'm saying? When that happens, they get hated on by their fans and by the media. But when these same players are loyal to the team, and the management and the owners of the team decide, well, we're going to trade this guy, we're going to cut this guy, there's no public outcry.
Well,
Steve Nash said it, I think. I think Steve Nash said it. There's no loyalty in sports, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a multitude of reasons why fans react like that. I mean, they see the players constantly. You know what I'm saying? I know some fans get attached to the players, but they got to understand the business aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? These players have families. These players, have bills to pay too. You know what I'm saying? So, if management gives them a shitty deal, and Team A is giving them a much more lucrative deal, you know what I'm saying? I mean, players' personal lives have come first. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why anybody would hate on Ray Allen. I mean, Ray Allen is following his career. He's going by year status right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ray Allen probably spending more time planning his post-playing career, planning his post-player career moves right now rather than his career moves. So, he has an age right now. I think Ray Allen's 36, 37 years old. He wants to win now. It's not about numbers, statistics with him. It's about winning championship. And Miami provides the best opportunity for that. Also, I don't know how 100% true this is, but I have read that there may have been some friction between Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen. And I don't know whether Rajon Rondo, being the future of that franchise, has anything to do with the Boston Celtics signing Jason Terry.
Right.
Maybe behind scenes, Rondo saying, I don't want this guy here, but make a move to kind of influence Ray Allen to leave. Those little type things. We don't know about the fans, but, I can only just speculate. Yeah. But also answer the question about the shot attempts. I don't know exactly how many career shot attempts he has, but I do know that Ray Allen has something like 21,000 points for his career. But I agree that Ray Allen was in his prime and was capable of putting up gun rights type numbers and better in his prime.
Yep.
I think that he's just a tad bit better outside shooting. And when I say that, Glenn Rice is one of the greatest shooters of all time. But Ray Allen is probably the greatest three-point shooter I've ever seen.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think Ray, he put so much effort into his shot. Ray Allen is a jump shooter. I mean, he don't have, like, remember Dennis Scott and them guys? They had a nice shot, but they had those set shots. Ray Allen is a jump shooter. He leave his feet every time he shoot the ball. That's a lot of energy, going into his shot. And as far as him with Rondo, I don't know if it's true or not either, but if he was mad at Rondo, I can understand why. Because I would watch Celtic games, and they got to the point where they was using Ray Allen as a fucking decoy. This man, 37 years old, he running around the fucking court, coming off screens like a bat out of hell, and he don't get the fucking ball, get wide open, and Rondo decide to pass it to somebody else. That when you that age, you don't got energy to waste like that. When you fight that hard to get open, you need to get the fucking ball, man. And that's why I think that he was justified in making this move, man. Like, look, if I'm hot, and that's another thing. A couple years ago, I watched the Celtics game. Ray Allen would get hot, he hit a couple of shots in a row. Next thing you know, that's when everybody else, Paul Pierce, that's when he want to decide he want to get going too, and he started yakking up shots and missing them and shit. And Rondo started going G, and got Ray Allen wide open at the 3-point line, and he taking it, penetrating to the hole. Like, man, come on, dish the ball out, man. I mean, I don't think that team really gelled as much as the media tried to make it seem like they gelled. I think the first year they came together and put their egos to the side, but after they got that championship, them egos popped right back up,
first year when they won 66 games, you know, so I'm not a Celtics fan, but I was rooting for the Celtics. You know, once they advanced into the NBA Finals, and you know, it was fun. You know, fun to watch them, man, because you know Boston had a serious drought, man. After Bird retired, and McHale and Red Auerbach and all those guys left, you know, they went through serious drought periods. So, you know, I kind of was feeling Paul Pierce, man, because he played through that whole period. They was only winning 20 games and, you know, losing. You know, they had become a losing franchise. I remember Rick Pitino was like, you know, Larry Bird not going to walk through this door. Bill Russell not walking through that door, whatever the hell the quote was.
Yeah.
And, you know, for them to come back and, you know, win a championship, I was rooting for them. But then they started becoming like you said, becoming arrogant and cocky.
Yeah.
And they always made excuses about when they did lose. They always blaming the officials, or they blamed this, or the other players was flopping. And, you know, I just like, man, that kind of turned me off on them, you know, so fresh, you know, Ray Allen getting the fresh start in Miami, and, you know,
yeah,
hope the best of luck to him.
Yeah, I think Miami will probably win it again next year, man. OKC is the only team I see in their way. I don't see anybody from the East stopping them from getting to the finals, unless there's some kind of injury or something. I don't see nobody from the East. I mean, the Knicks should be interesting this year. Didn't they sign Jason Kidd?
Yeah.
I mean, it should be interesting, you know, to have somebody who can control the fucking pace of the ball and get Carmelo and Amari, you know, shooting the way they're supposed to be shooting. But, you know, and then they got Jeremy Lin coming off the bench. So they, you know, the Knicks should be interesting to watch. But I think the Brooklyn Nets is overhyped. I don't even if they get Dwight Howard, I don't think they're gonna be all that good to me.
No, I think so too, and I think one of the most overrated. This is just my opinion now.
Yeah. But
I think one of the most overrated players in NBA history is Joe Johnson.
Man, you know what I'm saying? I agree. Joe Johnson is he's a solid player. He deserved to be in the NBA. Ain't nobody. I'm not calling him a bum, but Joe Johnson, for the hype that he gets, he does not have the passion, the basketball passion, like that I see in other superstars that put up the numbers he put up. He just kind of like go through the motions, man. He just happy to be here. You know, he just want to get paid. You know.
Yeah, like you ever heard a player played back in the 80s, late 70s, and the 80s, named Joe Barry Carroll, played with the Warriors?
No, I don't know him.
Don't know him. They used to have a nickname called, you know, his name was Joe Barry Carroll, but they called him, nickname was Joe Barry the Cares. He had all the, you know, the guy had a 52-point game one time, man. When he actually would put his mind to it and would be enthused and pumped up, he could be at the time, you know, the center position was really deep back in the 80s. He could be a top 10 center back then, which was saying a lot back in the 80s.
Right.
But it's like he just, I don't know, it's like he looked at the NBA as a job. He didn't have passion for it, and he never played to his full potential at all. And Joe Johnson, you know, even though it's a different position, Joe Johnson reminds me of that type of mentality. He just, when he wants to be, he could be an all-star caliber player. But I don't understand why he doesn't. I guess it's because he plays with teams that aren't as top echelon, but he doesn't get the criticism that LeBron gets, which to me is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because LeBron not always, I mean, you can criticize him for not coming up with first-class situations, but LeBron does produce. He's one of the most productive players in the history.
Yeah.
Joe Johnson, to have these massive $80, $120 million contracts, and you look at the production, I mean, he's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't see this guy as a player that you build your franchise around. And I think the Atlanta Hawks have made a big mistake trying to build a team around him.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think he got talent, man. I don't think he got it upstairs in the mental area. I don't think he has the desire to be great. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably what separate him. You know, but I do think he has the talent. He just don't have the mental makeup to get it done, man. But
let's just talk about the main topic, the 92 Dream Team, one last time.
Yeah.
Let me see. Comparison between Andre Iguodala and Larry Bird. Larry Bird had the advantage of points per game, 24.3 to 15.3 rebounds, 10 per game to Iguodala's 5.8, assists 6.3 to Iguodala's 4.9, steals all wash, blocks all wash, but overall, this team is just not